A dog with an anal prolapse. This is something that I haven't seen too many videos on. So today I figured we'd go ahead and talk about it and the things that you need to know in case you ever come across this, because really any dog can get it. So stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this episode of Breeders Hacks. We're talking about dogs with anal prolapses.
I got you right now. What's going on, Bully fam?
What's going on, Bully fam? It's your boy, the educator, the scientist, Mr. Double Muscle Line Bulls, bringing you guys another episode of Breeders Hacks. So today we're going to be talking about dogs with anal prolapses, right? So this is something that I haven't seen too many videos about on the internet, and I also think there is some misleading information. So I'm going to try to cover everything that I know, everything that I've seen, everything I've experienced when it comes to dogs with anal prolapses, right? So what is an anal prolapse, right? So let's just say this is our dog. Don't mind my drawing, guys. We're going to see if we can get some graphic design, graphic editors to help us make this look better. But this is our dog, right?
Okay, I like it, Picasso.
And what winds up happening is what an anal prolapse is basically when the inner lining of the rectum begins to protrude. It's a prolapse of the anus. That's really what it is. It's prolapse of the anus. So there's many different prolapses. A dog could get a prolapse of the eye. That's what a cherry eye is. A dog could get a prolapse of the penis. A dog could get a prolapse of vagina, a vaginal prolapse. There's different types of prolapses, so you need to be looking to see what prolapse you have, but it's pretty obvious it's going to be in whatever area you're looking at. So it's going to be the butt, right? The butt. You're going to see it's going to start to almost like mushroom out. It's gonna look like red. It's gonna look like a sausage looking thing. We're risking this video not getting monetized because it's very graphic, just for you guys to have an understanding, because it's about the education. It's not about, you know, anything else. So the dog's gonna have, like I said, this veiny looking protrusion. It's gonna look like its butt is protruding out, you know, like it's coming, like the dog's insides are coming out, if that makes sense. When this happens, that's what you would call an anal prolapse. That's coming out of the butt. If you see it coming out of the vagina, it's a vaginal prolapse. If you see it coming out of the penis prolapse. You kind of deal with each one differently because it's a different body part that you're dealing with. So with the anal prolapses, what happens is, now if you're dealing with this, right? And I mind you guys, the information that we put, this is purely things that either I've experienced because I've been dog breeding for the past decade, or what I've seen, you know, at the vet, or, you know, because I'm great friends with my vet, or, you know, things like that. So this isn't in any replacement of your vet. This is just to educate you guys. Anytime you see any problems with your dog, make sure you to go and consult your vet and get their opinion and treatment. In my experience, when we see that, we know it's an anal prolapse, right? So what causes an anal prolapse? So the causes of an anal prolapse is going to usually be, there's a few things actually though, but it could be parasites, right? If you're not staying on top of deworming your dogs, it can be actually caused by parasites. They say from the straining, you can cause an anal prolapse. That's why it is so important to deworm your dogs. It's crazy to think that you could have gotten this just by not deworming your dogs. And dewormer you can buy on Amazon for like 20 bucks, maybe even less. So you should be deworming your dogs on a regular routine. Every quarter. Another way is because of the dog is having some type of diarrhea, right? The dog has been straining. That's usually what it comes from. It's the straining, it's the pushing. I've seen this a lot with like Frenchies. I see a lot of people with Frenchies posting that they've gotten anal prolapses, and it's because, in my opinion, the diet that they're feeding the dogs, right? So they're feeding the dogs these very high protein diets, because a lot of Frenchie breeders have transitioned. They were originally like American Bully and Pit Bull type breeders, and now they switched over to Frenchies, and they're feeding a similar diet to their bullies as the Frenchies, and usually that can be a cause as well. Overall, what I'm just getting at is it can be the diet. That's why it's so important to monitor the stool of the dogs when they're going to the bathroom, making sure that it looks good. So it can be the diet, right? The dog has bad diarrhea. That's why you don't want to let diarrhea go untreated. Putting pumpkin in the dog's food, you can try changing the food, the list goes on, right? See what your vet says, obviously. But an anal prolapse can be caused by the diet. The dog can also have like digestive issues, right? So there's something going on up in here, you know? There's something going on up in here. If the dog is having digestion problems, then that can also cause the anal prolapse as well. So what are your options when now you've gotten the anal prolapse? Like I said, there's a lot of things that can cause it. So now we have an idea of what they are. The first thing is obviously you need to address it. There's special type of dog foods. I believe Royal Canin makes it. I think Science Diet's the other one. Don't quote me on it. You need to do a little bit of homework, but there's dog foods that'll help if the dog is having like some digestion problems and things like that, and your vet will definitely be able to better help. Like I said, pumpkin's another great one that helps with like digestion and stuff. But there could be something going on here, right? So the dog is straining a lot. So now your options are typically 3 stages. 1, 2, 3. The first thing is with the anal prolapse, time is of the essence, because believe it or not, untreated, left out long enough, a dog can actually like die from an anal prolapse. This is not something to joke around about. So that's why seeing your vet is extremely important. The first thing is with the anal prolapse, you want to be like thinking, okay, how long has this prolapse been sticking out for? If it's immediately, I mean, as soon as you see it, a couple of things that you can try to do before you get to your vet, right? So like if I had a dog that had one and I saw it, the first thing I would do before I even get to my vet, obviously I'd be going to my vet, but I would make sure, keep it clean, keep it sanitary, because this is a portion of the dog's body that's out. And now it's external, it's on the outside of the dog, when this is something that's meant to be on the inside of the dog. It needs to be extremely sanitary and extremely clean. What I typically will do if I came across it, I would use distilled water and like some brown sugar, and that really helps with like swelling. It helps reduce the swelling, as well as obviously if you found the dog with the anal prolapse, the dog may have been running around outside, you could have been at work, you just got home, so you don't know what debris is on it, you know what I'm saying? So what I would do is take the distilled water, the brown sugar, and try to spray it enough, get it nice and hydrated, because you don't want it to get dry and cracked and hard. You want it to stay moist and you want it to stay clean. So what I would do is I would take something like brown sugar and water, and I would be spraying the prolapse. It would help rinse off any debris that's on it. And then the next thing that I would be doing is immediately using like a diaper or something like that and putting it on the dog, so that when I get to the vet, it minimizes the chances of like getting bad bacteria or something on it. Yeah, like I said, I would try to clean it off, and then I would put the diaper on, take it right to the vet. The first thing is like, if it happened right away, what I've seen some people do, and you may even see it online on videos, is the first thing I've seen people do is they'll take some lube, and if it's a very small prolapse, they'll try to push this back in. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, you know? It depends, is the dog still straining? Is the prolapse that big? I don't know. So that's something you can try to do. Hey, you know what? If my dog has it, we're getting ready to head to the vet, my wife's driving, I can maybe try to, you know, push the prolapse in as we're on our way to the vet. That's one option. See if it goes back in. So that's the first option, pushing it back in. That's the first option. You lather up lube here and just on the entire thing, and you slowly and gently try to push it back in. You know, that's the first option. The second option now, the vet may want to suture it. So if it keeps coming back out after you pushed it in, the next option is the vet's gonna say, we need to suture it, right? So what they'll do is basically, they'll take the opening, right? The where the dog's butt is basically, and they'll push it back in, and then they're gonna do a purse, like a purse stitch, right? And basically they're gonna suture around, it tightens the area so that all that can come out is the poop. The dog's prolapse can't come back out. So they'll suture it. So that's the second option, suture. And basically like they'll put stitches, it'll keep the prolapse from coming back out. Doesn't always work. You can try that with the vet, and that's more cost effective, it's more inexpensive, but yet again, it doesn't always work. This is just to educate you guys. Sometimes it doesn't always work. A vet may tell you, hey, we can't do that. It may be because your prolapse is so bad. It all depends. And yet again, like I said, trying to treat it right away is the key. So anyway, that's the second option. Now, the third option is going to be surgery. That's the third option, guys, surgery. So now what they'll do is they may actually cut the prolapse that's sticking out, right? And what they'll do is, there's a few things that they may do. They may cut this portion that's sticking out and then like suture basically it back closed, so it's trimmed shorter and it's not coming back out. Another thing that they may do is they may actually like also suture it to something on the side here, on something else, so that it keeps the lining in place and it doesn't come back out. So it's a whole surgery involved, basically. That's the best way to explain it. It's a whole surgery involved. They're attaching, like I said, this prolapse to something on the inside so that it doesn't come back out, as well as they may even be trimming the outside, and then they're doing the purse stitch so that basically everything stays on the inside, you know? So for the most part, what you guys need to know, because yet again, this is something that your vet will be doing, is you'll be getting surgery, and that's your last option. So now, if this doesn't work, you would go to this. If this doesn't work, you would go to this. And if surgery doesn't work, in the most extreme scenarios, what I've seen is, unfortunately, the vets have had to put the dogs down because there's nothing they can do about it. It kept coming back even after surgery. So don't let it get to the worst case scenario. Be watching if your dog is straining a lot when it's pooping. You may be able to prevent this whole thing in the first place, you know? I just figured I'd give you guys some education on this, because I've seen people do videos on talking about the first part, pushing it back in, but there's levels to it. You know what I'm saying? There's levels to it, and it depends on how severe the anal prolapse is that you're dealing with the dog. So drop a comment down below. Let us know your experience, whether good or bad. It may help someone else. So that's all I was hoping that this would do, so that if someone is dealing with an anal prolapse, they can quickly, you know, kind of know what may be going on, what they can do, so on and so forth, just, you know, based off of my experience. So anyway, guys, hope this information is helpful. Hope it's useful. If you want to see us like do a series maybe on the different types of prolapses dogs can get, because they can get all kinds of different stuff, let us know. So anyway, guys, I'll see you on the next episode. All right, guys. Wilson, did I spell that right? I don't care. I don't care.
That's like this size on the screen, which is already this small. So when you're going to write it, you got to write it big. Even if it is that simple, especially when you got big, small, big, small, big, small.
All right. This says digestion.